Yo, yo. What's up, everybody? We're back. About to hop on. Gonna get a couple big kills tonight. Wait a second. Wait for some people to hop in. But yeah, we're gonna get some big kills tonight. We're gonna talk some MMA, talk a little bit of UFC. So let's do it. Let me know if the audio sounds good. If there's anything off. I'm in World 18. We're gonna do a little bit of late night PKing here. All right. Hold on 1 second. Can't let you guys see my pin. What's up, everybody? Hit the like button. We're about to get it going. We're gonna risk quite a bit of money tonight. We're in World 18. And here we go. If you've never tuned into the channel before, this is Learn to Fight. We do a lot of different things here. Tonight we're gonna be, PKing a little bit, but let's get it. All right. So this is my current setup. It's my current setup, and we got a good slash bonus of 235, so it should be able to do quite a bit of damage. All right, so if you guys never played this game before, it's one of the best games out there. So it's an old school game. It's been around for a super long time. For the people who don't know about this game, it's called Runescape, old school Runescape. We don't play the newer versions, only the old school. But yeah, let's get into the UFC fights this weekend. So one thing that stood out to me the most, Grant going out there and he had a fight. It was interesting to me because Cody was talking about Sean O'Malley and how Sean O'Malley had a bad performance whenever he stopped smoking weed and all this stuff. And he's like, hey, he should get back on the weed. And I made a video talking about how certain personality types certain personality types will perform better if they're in a state of chaos. So that's what we've seen in the UFC fights this past weekend. Cody Garbrandt has been sober, he said, for the last couple years or a year or so. And you've seen how his performance was nowhere near as good as when he was not sober. So that doesn't work for everybody, but for certain people, they're going to perform under chaos, and them being sober is going to make them a worse fighter. We've seen it multiple times now at this stage. I'm risking 15 mil right now. Nothing too crazy. So we're about to warm up, get the first fight in. There's not many people to fight right now, but we're just going to chill, talk about these fights. So, like I said, Cody Garbrandt and Sean O'Malley, super similar fighters, super similar stories. Here we go. We got an opponent. They even look similar, with the braids and the face tattoos. But it goes to show, like, if your personality type is one that is supposed to be in a state of chaos, you can do everything perfectly and go on the straight and narrow, and it's gonna be bad for you. And you could take that into multiple different places and multiple different stages and realms of life. Not everybody's supposed to perform or do the same thing. So I thought that was interesting with the fight. Cody Garbrandt's obviously his best performance was against, I don't know what the fuck this guy's doing. I'm gonna skip this dude. Cody Garbrandt's best performance obviously was against Dominic Cruz. He looked like one of the best fighters ever in history. Right? All right, here we go. We got a fight. So we should just rip through this dude with this setup. Of course, he's gonna try to spec early, So we're gonna try to spec him out as well. Yeah, we're gonna get him out of here. We might even smite him. With this specific setup right now, Dang, we almost had him. With this specific setup right now, I'm going to hit damn near every time. So I just got to be careful. This dude has an AGS. He's going to try to... and this dude has actually killed me before, so I got to be careful here. But fuck this guy. I'm going to go fight this guy. This guy's risking a good amount. So we're not even going to acknowledge this dude who's ranging us. Goofball. Look at that. Look at this guy. We're just going to troll him. We're going to break his venge. I might even give this dude a chance. All right, so let's go fight this dude, this other dude. He's risking a good amount, and he's in range gear, so we're about to get a quick little 10 miller. You know, the other night we were PKing and we made some good money, so tonight I want to make like 100 mil tonight. 100 mil will be good. But going back to Cody Garbrandt. So Cody Garbrandt and Sean O'Malley, pretty similar guys, especially in their fight career. It's essentially their fight careers are basically going on the exact same trajectory. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to piece this dude up right now. I'm going to put on this. I'm going to switch it up. I'll put the whip on because he's a ranger. So you want to be able to hit a lot when you're fighting a ranger, you know, and the key to beating someone like this is going to be speed. So I'm going to put the whip on with the ring of suffering. So for you guys who don't know, the ring of suffering, basically every time someone hits you, they're doing big recoil damage every single time. So that's my strategy. And my weapon of choice, I'm going to use the Vesta Spear. Sometimes it works well, sometimes it doesn't, but that's going to be my weapon of choice. All right, so let's go get this guy out of here. All right, let's do it. It's going to be the first kill of the night. Here we go. Do you think Cody got robbed? I mean, to be honest, like, I was watching the fight. I saw the first round. I was watching it loosely in the second round, and I watched the third round. I don't think he got robbed by any means. I think person who got robbed was the dude who fought Alonzo Menafield. I believe his name was Sai. Cody Garbrandt, I think he just didn't do enough to win the fight, you know, especially with these judges nowadays. Like, so and I wouldn't say he got robbed. I think it's just more of a, all right, we're gonna get this dude out of here. We got him. Damn it, he killed us. It was a risk, you know, but we went for it. So yeah, Cody. No, I don't think he got robbed. I think it's more of a, he hasn't really evolved his game or continued to evolve his game. You know, his game has always been, he's a striker. I believe he was a wrestler back in the day. You know, he had really good boxing, and he didn't choose to continue evolving, you know, so the game has a bad battle plan. Exactly. So the game has like passed him up. You know, everybody who fights him knows what to do right off the bat. They know he's not going to shoot for a takedown. They know he's not going to mix it up. So it makes it kind of easy for him, you know, and he has these skills in his back pocket, but he just chooses not to use them. And I think that's ultimately his biggest like downfall. I think the same thing we're seeing with Sean O'Malley. You know, O'Malley has a good ground game. You know, he actually, whenever he tested positive for Austrine and he was out for a bit, he had a match with Takanori Gomi on UFC Fight Pass, and he submitted Takanori Gomi. And Gomi is a great jiu-jitsu guy. So, but when he fights, everybody knows he's not going to go for a takedown. So therefore, the threat of the takedown never comes in the opponent's mind, you know? So it's interesting to me how Cody and O'Malley are pretty much like living a very similar career. So Damon, one thing I was talking about earlier, I don't know if you were on yet, but I made a video probably about a week ago about the fact that O'Malley, whenever he went sober for this last fight, right? And he came back, he fought Merab, and it was one of his worst fights probably ever, right? So with certain people, and not everybody is the same, and you got to really know yourself and understand yourself to even understand what I'm about to say. But with certain people, they're better off like doing drugs and stuff like that. For example, John Jones, right? Michael Phelps, Michael Jordan. For certain people, they need to be wild as a competitor, and if they're not, they're going to perform worse. And that's what I think we've seen with Cody Garbrandt. Cody Garbrandt, he went sober this fight, or I think for the last like maybe year or two or something like that, and he's been having pretty bad performances. So that theory that I talked about in that video just kind of continues to be shown. We're risking 20 mil. It kind of just continues to be shown. I'm smoking right now. Yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, I mean, it just depends. Everybody's different. But one thing's for sure, everybody doesn't play by the same rules. And not everybody, just because one person shouldn't smoke doesn't mean the other person shouldn't. The next person shouldn't. And that's one thing I learned. It's one thing I've seen with a lot of my coaches. Some of them would be like, oh, make sure you're not smoking. Make sure you're not doing this. Make sure you're not doing that. If you're going to be a world champion, they don't do that. And it's just not true. I've seen so many fighters who are high-level competitors, be smoking like crazy, and then they stop, and then their performances go to shit. So I think it really ultimately depends on who you are as a person. But not one thing doesn't fit for everybody. And we're wrecking this dude. He's complaining, he's crying, but we don't give a fuck about all that. But yeah, this game right here is like one of the most funnest games ever. And basically, we just never want to give him a chance to even get started. He's going to run now, and he's going to try to spec as he runs. I already know what this dude's going to try to do. So just got to be careful here. He's going to have two special attacks coming up. But yeah, so the next fight I want to talk about, the Alonzo Menafield versus Sai fight. The biggest shame was suspending Nick. Yeah, that's 1,000%. And WHMMA actually just made a video on like what happened to Nick. So let's talk about what happened to Nick. Nick Diaz, okay, yeah, he smoked some weed, okay, whatever. He was one of the best fighters ever of the time at that time, right? They suspend him for 5 years, and he just begins to party hard. Now he's not balancing out his smoking and living his lifestyle. He's just partying hard all day. He has millions of dollars going hard. And now you see him now and what he's going through. We know last week, that's why WHMMA made that video. Last week, they're talking about he's in rehab and all this stuff. And it just goes to show, like, that right there was one of the worst things that could have ever happened to Nick. Because he was a dude who needed to be fighting. And they took him out. They took him out of the game in his prime, So Nick Diaz, I feel for him big time. That's like one of the saddest stories in MMA. I hope he's able to figure it out, though. Like whenever he was gonna fight Robbie Lawler, Robbie Lawler was asking him if he's good in life, and I thought that was interesting. But as we've seen, like, when he was supposed to fight Robbie Lawler, it seemed like he was fighting more so for the money and not because he like wanted to become a champion or even because he enjoyed it. So that was pretty sad to see. that was super sad to see. And it's funny because we're seeing it now with BJ Penn. With BJ Penn, which we don't know for sure if BJ Penn is on anything. But we see him crashing out, and he got arrested again this week. So also we seen it with Stephan Bonnar whenever he was crashing out. And obviously that story didn't end well for Stephan Bonnar. He passed away. But at one point, Bonnar was like trying to get medical attention. Like he was at the hospital crashing out. And he wanted like, pain pills or something. It's super sad to see. You see, some legends of the sport going through it now. Because now these guys are 40 years old, 41 years old, 50 years old. You never hear about this stuff for guys like Randy Couture. You know what I'm saying? And I think the biggest thing, the reason why you don't see that is because they have a strong like home life. Like Mighty Mouse, right? Mighty Mouse, I forget how old he is, but Mighty Mouse has a strong home life. He has his wife, he has his kids. So you'll never see someone like Mighty Mouse crashing out. Mighty Mouse is actually doing better now than in his fight career. He's making bank, like he's one of the most successful YouTubers. He's still competing in jiu-jitsu. But ultimately, I think that's because he has a strong home life. Stephan Bonnar at the end of his life, it was like a cascade of things. Like his house burnt down, right? Then he was super paranoid. Then he had to do Josh Fabia. Was around him. The same guy who was like following Diego Sanchez around and doing weird stuff. So one thing I see with fighters is, they're like, what happens is, for example, same thing with BJ Penn, these leeches, and same thing with Nick Diaz as well. These leeches, they say his ex-girlfriend or whoever, the girl who took the video of him allegedly like firing up a pipe or burning a blade of grass or whatever it was, that weird video. I don't know if you ever seen it, but they say so for example, Diego Sanchez, you have Josh Fabia. Stephan Bonnar, you have Josh Fabia. BJ Penn, you have some dude hanging around him that is a leech. You know what I'm saying? Allegedly. So with all these fighters, you see these like weird dudes who come around these fighters and they latch onto them. And now, you're not that popular fighter no more. You're not the champ no more. You're not getting all the clout no more. So these guys, if you don't have a strong home life or something else that gives you significance other than fighting, you see it. You've seen it with multiple fighters now, so I found that to be interesting. But, Fabia is probably leeching on a local scene these days. Yeah, I don't know what that dude is doing. I doubt it, because in a local scene, you're not going to get many fighters who have like hundreds of thousands of dollars or make hundred thousands of dollars. And I think he's like kind of banned from the sport. Like no one in their right mind is going to work with that dude. But I wanted to talk about, we were talking about weed. Josh Rosenthal. You remember him, the referee? He got like banned, or no, he actually went to jail for like a super long prison sentence for selling weed. I wonder what that dude's doing now. I'm pretty sure he'd be out by now. Damn. Fuck. You got fucked up on that one. So yeah, I wonder what he would be like. He should be almost out right now, if not out. So Josh Rosenthal, he was an old school ref back in the day, and he got caught with some weed or something, and Like, he got caught with pounds and pounds and pounds. And he got like some big, long, crazy prison sentence. You know, this is like more than 10 years ago at this point. But it's funny to see like all these guys in the sport got in trouble for weed, and then now it's just legal. Now it's just cool. Like Sean O'Malley's smoking, no problem, you know. But meanwhile, you got guys like Nick Diaz, who his life literally got ruined because of smoking weed. You know, if it's not for the, hit that like button, everybody. If it's not for the weed, then Nick Diaz continues to fight and he continues to live his life. Who knows? Maybe he becomes a champion. Maybe he keeps having some fights, or who knows? Maybe he just keeps fighting and it's just not for him, and he was just always going to have a bad downfall. But regardless of the fact, the weed he should have never got banned for weed for 5 years. That's crazy. Can you imagine being banned from your career for 5 years? Let's see. I didn't realize Josh was arrested. He's out next month. Yeah, Josh Rosenthal. Bro, he's been in jail for like a long time for selling weed, which is crazy because in California, you can just go and buy weed, and it's not an issue, you know. And in many places, you can just go and buy weed. Meanwhile, you got guys like that dude in jail for significant sentences for selling weed, you know. So it's just crazy. It's ridiculous to me. But yeah, so what do you think about that Alonzo Menafield fight versus the guy Sai? The guy Sai, it wasn't an exciting fight. It was a boring ass fight, but I don't think he should have won. You know what I'm saying? And in no way, shape, or form did he win that fight, Alonzo Menafield. So that was crazy to me because we're seeing this type of thing multiple times. Like this happened with in the card recently with the heavyweights with the dude Sergey Spivak, I believe. Yeah, Sergey Spivak. He fought Waldo or some shit like that. I believe that's his name, Waldo. And Sergey clearly won the fight, and they gave it to Waldo. Absolutely insane. Damn, he almost died right there. All right, watch this. About to piece this dude up. Show you guys how it's done. It's over with. He's dead. He can't survive this. He can go for a Hail Mary right here, which he probably will right here. All right. Yeah. All right, here we go. We're going to lock in for a second. But yeah, so that was weird to me, how they gave that guy the fight. You know, we're seeing it more and more. I think it has to do with if you're fighting, you better make sure like you're making it exciting. Otherwise, you're going to lose a decision. You know, it's no more of this like just being technical and, you know, trying to win a point fight. Nah, you gotta be like exciting. You know, I think that's one of the things that the judges are looking for nowadays. You know, like Usman, for example, they have to give Usman the fight because he was absolutely destroying him, and it's a higher profile fight. In a higher profile fight, they're going to like judge it correctly for the most part. You know. Let's see. We're gonna wait a second. Let's see. Watch this. I'm gonna read the chat for a second because he's trying to set me up right now. So this is perfect time to just kind of hang out and see what I said. Knew he was trying to set it up. And now I could chill out. I believe that I crashed out on the decisions because there was fuckery in the judges that night. Yeah, I agree, 1,000%. There was definitely fuckery with the judges, you know. And I'm sure some of these judges probably get paid or they got bets on the side. It's just human nature, you know. It's definitely human nature. Like, if you can make a shit ton of money betting on fights, you're probably going to do it. You know what I'm saying? For most people, not everyone's going to be. Of course, you're going to get a couple people who are like, no, I live by the straight and narrow. But for the most part, I think that's what you see with some of these decisions. Like judges be on DraftKings betting money, and then they're like, oh shit, my parlay's fucked up. All right, give it to this guy. Or they're getting paid off by other people, because there's a lot of money that goes into these fights. A lot of money that goes into it. A lot of shenanigans that go on. Here we go. About to go fight this dude again. But who you got in the Oliveira Ilia Topuria fight? That's a very interesting fight. I think Oliveira is going to cook him up. I think Oliveira is going to wreck him. But it should be an exciting fight. UFC's been on fire as of late. Let's see here. All right, now we're going to chill out for a second because all right, now we're out of spec. So next round, if we survive this fight, I'm going to switch it up a bit. I'm going to grab a light bearer. Look at this. This dude is always here. Central C. See, Ilia hits harder pound for pound more than anyone in the UFC. More than Alex Pereira? You feel like Ilia hits harder than Alex Pereira? Damn, we're dead. Oh shit, that's perfect. Yeah, Ilia, one thing about him, he has incredible boxing. Really, really good boxing. That was the first thing I took away when I seen him, like, just the way he's putting together combinations, going to the body. In his whole career, or at least his UFC career, he's never once thrown a kick. So that's interesting to me. I think when it comes to fighting like someone like Oliveira, though, I think Oliveira's ground game is ridiculously good, and he's no slouch on the feet as well. And one thing, like we were talking about earlier with Sean O'Malley and Cody Garbrandt, Ilia has great ground game as well, but he's not probably going to try to go to the ground with Oliveira. I mean, he might. He says he's that a type of guy who is going to try to beat you at what you're good at, and he hits ridiculous yard. Yeah, he's a shorter guy. Short guys hit really hard. I believe there's a picture of Ilia. He's like 5'9" or 5'8", something like that. And Oliveira is like a good amount taller than him. Short guys hit ridiculously hard because everything's compact. So yeah, I think. But with that being said, I'm going with Oliveira. I think it's going to be a crazy fight. I think it's going to be a fight where it's like, yeah, Ilia, you're good, but you got a lot to learn. You know what I'm saying? But also, if he wins, I wouldn't be surprised, because my theory is when smaller guys go up in weight, usually they win. That's just what I've seen in the fight game. And guys usually perform way better when they go up in weight. There's multiple different things. Hey, what'd you think about what was that guy? The Brazilian guy. Did you think he did a flop? I was watching that live. I seen that fight live, and yeah, he definitely faked that, in my opinion. Bro literally looked at the ref, and then on the way down, got knocked out. And then Paul Craig and the ref are arguing, and then he wakes back up. Like, get out of here. I've never seen someone get knocked out and then wake back up like that. This is not how it works. You know what I'm saying? So that was hilarious. All right, here we go. We might even get a smite right here. Watch this. We got to be careful because he's about to spec in a second, but yeah, he's not going to be able to hit a 109 on me. I highly doubt it. So we just ate that. Next round, I'm going to switch it over to a whip so I can hit more on this dude. Here we go. Got him. So just a little 900K kill. You know, nothing crazy. Gonna bury the bones. The flop was weird. Yeah, that was the craziest flop ever. So, matter of fact, I'm gonna pull up that flop right now for you guys who don't watch MMA. You know, some of you guys probably didn't see the flop, but this dude pretended to get knocked out to try to win a quick like DQ. And bro looked at the ref like he got knocked out, fell asleep, woke back up. Let me see. UFC flop. That's what I put in. UFC flop. Let's see if it comes. All right, here we go. I got it right here. Oh, I'm about to change the screen right now so you guys can see it. All right, let's watch this. Look at this. So he looks at the referee, then he falls asleep, and he wakes back up. I've seen a lot of people get knocked out. Never once have I ever seen somebody like wake back up like that. You know what I'm saying? It's just not real. Especially because we clearly see him like looking at the referee. You know what I'm saying? Trying to get a quick win, a little easy win. Which, you know, I get it. You know, these fights are ridiculously hard. So if you're trying to get a quick win, I feel you, you know, but it's not a good look. It's definitely not a good look at all. You know, it's definitely embarrassing. It's definitely pussy shit. But, you know, because it's in soccer. So, all right, so now we have one emblem. We're gonna try to get to. We're gonna go for a 10-fight kill streak. You know, we'll get on a kill streak. So overall, that fight card was pretty good. You know, this next fight card with Oliveira. I'm gonna look that up right now. I'm gonna look it up, and then we're gonna kind of. I think it's UFC 317, right? I believe it must be UFC 317. Yeah, it's UFC 317 fight card. All right. So we're about to go wreck some more noobs right now, but let's look at this fight card real quick. Here we go. All right, so let's go through this fight card. So Ilia Topuria versus Ilia. I have Charles. The co-main event, I have Pantoja. Roval versus Lee. That's an interesting fight. That's a real interesting fight. Forget Oliveira event. DDP versus Kamzat is what I'm hanging out for. Yeah, that's a fact. DDP versus Kamzat is going to be a great fight. Who you got winning that fight? I have Mahler, old school RS. Hey, pull up to World 18. In that DDP versus Hamzat fight, I have, I think Hamzat is going to, actually, it's hard to say. I think Hamzat might pull it through, though. Hamzat's an interesting character. Then we have Beneil Dariush versus Moicano. I'm going with Beneil Dariush. Beneil Dariush is one of my training partners. Great guy, great fighter, solid dude. So I'm going with Beneil Dariush all day. Then we have Costa versus Koplovov. I've never seen this other guy fight, so I'm going to go with Costa. We'll go over the prelims later. But we're going to go back to wrecking noobs right now. You know, whooping noobs' asses. Just taking everything. I'm going to kill streak right now. DDP is going to take the win in a 5-rounder. Hamzat is kind of being exposed against Usman in a 3-rounder. Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, that fight was a long time ago. You know, Hamzat, one thing about Hamzat is, the thing is about Hamzat and the Usman fight, we just seen how good Usman is, right? He fought an up-and-comer in Buckley who's on a 6-fight win streak, a lot of knockouts, and he was able to just go in there, take him down, hold him down, whoop his ass. We haven't seen DDP have a crazy ground game off of his back. He's good when he's on top, but we haven't seen him off of his back, you know? So I think that's the biggest difference. And also another big difference is Usman is an elite level wrestler. DDP is more of like a brawler type of guy who is just kind of good at everything, you know? So that's the main thing. You know, I think if Hamza and DDP fight, it's kind of like, yeah, old school Mal RS. Yeah, I'm a fighter. I'm a professional fighter in real life. So if you're your first time on the channel, we play RuneScape. I show people how to fight. I'm gonna fight myself again, probably in like September or October, you know, and that's how we roll over here. Yeah, Hamzat is a beast, but I think if he lets DDP drag it out, it's done. Yeah, I mean, you know, one thing with Hamzat, you know, he's had a lot of health issues. He's had a shit ton of health issues, so I think that plays a role in his cardio. But I think it's just a bad fight for DDP all around. Both have been oppressed in war. Have repression in war. Hamza, I think, needs to make weight. Ilya by body shot KO. Ooh, okay. I like that. I like that. Now we're calling our shots. Ilya by body shot KO. Okay. I think Charles Oliveira is going to get a dart stroke. This is the first time on the channel, but I love the old school RS and MMA. That's how we roll, bro. And later today, I'm gonna be posting you know, some tips on how to get your kicks better. So me and this dude, CC, Central C, we got beef. You know, he's always in here. He's a goofball. You know, he's killed me before for you know, a few mil, like 70 mil before. He usually just attacks and runs. So we gotta kill this dude. And you know, we're gonna smite this dude as well. We're gonna get a big smite tonight. But yeah, for all the new people in the chat. So in real life, I'm a fighter, and then I play old school RS, and that's all I do on here is just PvP. I don't quest. I don't do none of that shit. I only play for combat. And it's funny because there's a lot of like with MMA and PKing, there's a lot of similarities because it's combat, you know. Like for example, when it comes to fighting, one thing you need to do is like fake, feint, and fake, and feint, you know. In old school RuneScape, the best PvPers, they also feint, you know, feint weapons. So the like principles of combat remain the same. You know what I'm saying? It's just funny because like I'll be playing RuneScape. I've been playing RuneScape for like 20 years. You know, like I've been playing this shit for a long time. And one of the reasons I actually started fighting was actually probably because I was a PKer on RuneScape. So it actually kind of made me like more interested in fighting. Because I started playing, I was like 12 years old. And I started training seriously when I was 14. So yeah, RuneScape is one of those games I'm gonna be playing for forever. But they just made a new RuneScape, and it's absolute trash. That Dragon RuneScape game, I don't know. They just need to stick to old school RuneScape and just make it better, you know. So let's see who's got here. I'm about to lock in for a second. Underrated fight I'm keen for is Bobby Knuckles versus The Ritter. Yeah, that's a great fight. That's a super good fight. Oh shit, we're gonna die. Fuck. But oh well, I mean, I was reading the chat. So underrated fight I'm keen for, Bobby Knuckles versus The Ritter. If The Ritter gets Bobby done, it puts I think The Ritter wins that fight. You know, so it's funny to me because I'm about to tell this dude to get back. Yeah, so The Ritter is a hell of a fighter, you know. Oh, she's gonna give it back. Let's see if he gives it back. Yeah, so The Ritter is a hell of a fighter. And it's funny because people always think like people always say like, oh, the UFC has all the best fighters, and it's not necessarily true. You know, and this all right, this dude's clowning now. All right, fucking goofball. But it's not really not true, and D Ritter shows that because D Ritter, who's over there in ONE FC, he's a like 2 division champion in ONE FC. Great fighter. He went out there, whooped Bo Nichols' ass. And the thing is about D Ritter is, ONE FC is actually the biggest organization in the world. Asia is huge, and there's so many people there, and a lot of people watch MMA, and they're watching ONE FC over there in Asia. So over here in America or even Australia, you're Aussie, UFC is the one that people watch, but really ONE FC is actually the biggest organization in the world. UFC is just more popular with the Americans and the Europeans, but what's it called? So D Ritter coming over and just obviously wrecking people in the UFC, it just kind of goes to show that UFC does not have all the best fighters, and I think D Ritter is gonna beat Robert Whittaker. And I like Robert Whittaker a lot, but I think it's a horrible matchup for him. Specifically on the ground, it's a bad matchup for him. But let's look at the rest of this fight card real quick, and then we're gonna go back to PKing. So let's look at the prelims. We got Hermansson versus RoboCop. And I was actually seeing a picture of RoboCop earlier in one of his fights where he got hit with the elbow and his artery was showing. Crazy, absolutely brutal. But I got Hermansson, I think, in that fight. Then we have these guys. This guy looks familiar, but I don't know these guys. The girls fight, I don't care about the girls fight. I'm going to go with Cortez because she has a fat ass. McKinney versus... Oh, shit. Let me see here. McKinney versus Broshev. Actually, this guy, Broshev, looks like someone I knew, but he's not. McKinney, he goes ups and downs, I'm going to go with McKinney. Talbot versus Lima. I'm going to go with Lima. Talbot, there's a lot of questions there. I think he's too busy hanging out with Frank Ocean and stuff like that. So I'm going to go with, which he's a hell of an athlete, but I'm going to go with the other guy. I think it's a bad matchup. Van Roval, that's going to be good. Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a fight. It's going to be a real good fight. Van, incredible boxing. 317 is actually good. Better looking events overall top to bottom. I'm missing Mackenzie Dern's and her cheeks. Yeah, and Mackenzie Dern is bad. One of my buddies actually dates her, I believe. I don't know if they're still dating. I'm pretty sure they are. But a guy who's a really good fighter, he's in the UFC. His name is Antonio Tricoli. He actually is like one of the best poker players in the world as well. I had no idea, but yeah, Antonio Tricoli, he just won like $500,000 in the World Series of Poker. And he's also a UFC fighter. I trained with him a few times. A good guy, solid guy. But he actually dates Mackenzie Dern. So, she's super pretty. She's in great shape. Let's see. Kopylov Helpy. To be honest, I've never even seen Kopylov fight. I might have seen him fight before, but he doesn't ring a bell. I'm sure he's probably coming into the fight banged up. So now we're going to try to go back in there and redeem ourselves. Make sure you hit that like button as well. But Jesse, what's your record? I'm 4-4. So my last fight was a decision. And you could go to my channel and watch the fight. I whooped the dude's ass, dropped him a few times. But for me, I had a couple losses. And the losses I had was because I was cutting too much weight. Like right now I weigh I'm huge right now. Right now I weigh 228. A few months ago I was 250. and I'm not fat. You know what I'm saying? I was trying to make 170 because I was attached to being 170 pounds, because for the longest, in when I wrestled and when I began fighting, I was fighting at 170. So it was something that I was just kind of like attached to, and that's one of the biggest mistakes I made, was trying to continue to make 170. So I had a couple fights where I literally cut too much weight, and the fight would happen, and then I got hit in the fight and got dropped, from a shot that typically would do nothing to me, So it was a valuable lesson that I learned, was I need to be fighting at light heavyweight. So I'm going to be fighting again in probably October, September, something like that. But yeah, with these new lessons learned. And the guys that I lost to are all great fighters as well. There's a guy, his name is Luis Franciscanelli. And he's one of the top prospects in the world right now. He's probably like the Alex Pereira for the 170s. He actually trained with Alex Pereira for a while. And he's like 6'8", big dude, really good striker. He's like all knockouts in the first round. And actually I was his toughest fight, but I went into that fight compromised. I damn near died cutting weight in that fight. No excuses. But so yeah, so those are where some of my losses come from. But for me, I just turned 31 in April, and I was like annoyed because some of my fights, how do we sponsor you for your fight? Yeah, you can just sponsor me. If you got a company, you can hit me up, shoot me a DM on Instagram. I'll get your logo on my fight shorts. But yeah, and I'll make sure that, really promote your business and go out there and whoop someone's ass. But yeah, so when I turned 31, I was like super annoyed, because I was like, damn, I lost a couple fights. Like, thought I would have already been a multi-millionaire now in the UFC, killing it. And sometimes this is not how it goes. But I seen Anderson Silva, and Anderson Silva, his career didn't really start until he was 31. He had a couple losses, tough losses in Pride, and fuck, man, we're getting fucked up. Oh fuck. But anyways, yeah, he had a couple tough losses in Pride and shit like that. And he didn't go on his run until he was 31 to 38 or 39. And he went undefeated for that whole period of time. So for me, the last, let's say, since my last fight was in February of last year, the whole time I've been working on my striking. In my last fight, you could see my striking was clearly on a higher level. But I went in and I kind of zoned in and really started getting really, really good at striking. So my next fight, you're going to see real dynamic striking. And I'm pretty excited for it, but I don't go into these fights half-assed. The biggest thing for myself going forward that I've changed is fighting in the correct weight class, so I can sustain damage. I'm not gonna get hit and get dropped because I'm in the proper weight class. What else? Just understanding the game more, understanding how to fight better, and knowing that I'm really good. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, so the next fight you're gonna see a different animal. And the last fight, I was very hesitant. If you guys watch the fight on my channel, I didn't engage as much in the fight, or I was trying to force him to come to me because he knew that I was gonna try to take him down. So he was kind of running away the whole time. He was running away the whole time. So it was a very strategic fight. But I could have got him out of there. I could have knocked him out, which you'll see in the third round when I dropped him like multiple times. But so yeah, man, just going forward, I'm gonna go in there and just whoop people's ass. I'm looking to really rack up a lot of fights, and just have a good time, see what I can do, not put as much pressure. We're still putting pressure on myself to win, but the pressure isn't like, because for me, it was like, all right, when I turned 30, I should be in the UFC. By then, I should be a multimillionaire by then. So there was always, and I need to be undefeated. There was always a lot of pressure going on every fight. Now there's still pressure, of course, but the feeling is a little bit different. It's more like I'm doing this because I want to do it and because I love it and it's fun for me. You know what I'm saying? So it's like more freeing, as to where before it was just like, oh shit, I can't lose because, what are people going to think about me? Or, like for example, I fought Tyson Miller, right? Tyson Miller, like I said, shorter dudes hit hard. Tyson Miller, that fight, I damn near died cutting weight. Like if you see me in the weigh-in, like I look like literally a skeleton. And mind you, I was 250 pounds not too long ago, So that fight was at 170, and that fight was the fight that started me kind of going on a losing streak for a bit there, which I had never been on a losing streak really ever. You know what I'm saying? Maybe like high school wrestling, something like that. But that whole period of time was an interesting period of time for me because I had to learn a lot about myself. I had to learn a lot about the fight game, why things didn't work, and that fight was a fight where I was literally, if I would win that fight, I'm going to UFC, or I'm fighting for the LFL belt and I'm going to UFC. In that fight, I realized, a lot of things. I went into that fight with a torn ACL. So you see right off the bat in the fight, he goes after my knee. Like in the beginning, first thing he does is go after my knee because he knew my knee was compromised. Because there are people leaking my injuries and stuff like that. Because I worked at a gym, worked at a UFC gym, and to be honest, I can't prove this, but I just have a feeling. Everybody knew and saw when I came into the gym on crutches and my knee was like exploded. You know what I'm saying? So, and they knew. I was like, I'm not gonna pull out of the fight because I sold so many tickets. I sold something like $27,000 in ticket sales, and I'm not even in UFC. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, I'm not gonna pull out the fight. I had my family coming, I had my mom coming, my grandma passed away. I couldn't go out to Africa to see her. So there was a lot of shit going into that fight. And I put myself under a lot of pressure going into that fight. And I forced myself and made sure that I made the weight. And I damn near died cutting that weight. And I went into the fight, threw some teep kicks. We're moving around. And then boom, he throws a big overhand that drops me. And I could eat those all day. But the simple fact that I cut that much weight is what caused me to get dropped. So, and that started, and then I was, after that fight, I was depressed for a while. Oh, we destroyed that dude. Damn, that was crazy. So after that fight, I was depressed for a while, and I wasn't even training. You know what I'm saying? I was just hanging out, living my life, getting fat, kind of being like, woe's me. And then I get the call for a fight. It's going to be in 2 months. So when I got the call for the fight, I believe it was let's say it was like 7 weeks. And now I weighed when I got and it's not about excuses. It's just, this is just what it was. Like, this is just facts of what happened. So some people see me in the gym and they're like, damn, how did you go on a losing streak? Like, what the fuck happened there? Like, damn, you're really good. Like, what the fuck happened? So I'm going to tell you guys exactly what happened. So, so I got the call for the fight and I hadn't even been training for months, right? I was like weighing like 235. And now I got the fight. Now when they called me, I'm like, you know what? This is my time to redeem myself. I can come back, do my thing. All right, cool. So I take the fight. I shouldn't have took the fight. I took it at 170. And the whole fight camp was about just making weight. You know, I dieted super hard. Fast forward, we get to the fight, and I'm cutting weight for the fight. And it was a brutal weight cut. I fucking damn near almost died again. Like my heart was doing weird shit. I fucked myself up so badly cutting weight that it took my body like months and months and months to recover from that weight cut. Worse than the Miller fight. So we go into the fight. I'm supposed to fight this guy, Barrington Bishop, right? We have an opponent change the day before the fight. So now I'm fighting Luis Franciscanelli. Luis Franciscanelli is a high-level kickboxer, one of the best kickboxers in the world, and which is no problem. I love that shit. But so I fight him, and basically he had been waiting for a fight. Nobody would fight this dude. Nobody would fight this dude because he's like ridiculously good, which you can see he has all first round knockouts, right? So I go in, we fight him, whatever. We're going around, we're going back and forth. I go, I put him on the cage, go to take him down, and then he hits me with like just like a regular punch, and I go down because of that weight cut. So, and then after that, I fought what's his name? Blair, Bear, or not Blair, what the fuck is his name? Blair, yeah, Blair Shano. I fought him, and you guys can see the fight. I whooped his ass. So that's basically, so now I'm coming back, and I'm like in a new stage, a new stage in my fight career. With all those lessons learned, you know, I'm still 31 in my weight class, which is, you know, you can be a lot older in this weight class. Like, I could still fight for like 10 years, you know? So when you guys see me fight next, it's going to be a different guy, you know what I'm saying? And the stuff I've been working, like I've gotten really, really good with striking. I haven't even done jiu-jitsu in months. You know, I've just been specifically just striking, and I'm getting very, very good. So see, just do what you love, man. I personally couldn't imagine myself getting into a cage and getting my ass beat. Yeah, people don't realize, like, it looks all fun in games, but it's ridiculously hard. And that's one of the reasons why I come back to it. So, like, when I was depressed, right, after that loss to Miller, every single day of my life, all I thought of was, I need to get back in the cage. Even though I hated it at the time, it was literally all that was on my mind. Like, I can't wait to get back in the cage. I'm going to come back, going to redeem myself. I'm going to show, you know, show these guys real fighting, show them how it's done, you know? So that's one of the ways, it's one of the reasons why I know, like, you know, I'm supposed to be a fighter, you know? We're getting fucking wrecked tonight. All right, so I'm not going to risk as much because we're getting fucking wrecked. I'm not focused. So I'm just going to go in like noob gear. I'm going to go in like regular gear and just try to get a couple kills, try to get a kill streak going. And it's funny because when I'm in noob gear, fight way better because, you know, same thing. There's no pressure. You just don't really care, you know. So I can like read the chat, no problem here. Let me see. Dana White would not be happy you chose to show the injury. Well, no, that's not the thing. I didn't show the injury at the gym. Like, that's the thing. You don't really have a choice. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, like when you're a pro fighter, you still have to work. You know what I'm saying? Until you get to the point where you're making, like, let's say, even if you're making $100K a fight, you're still going to have to work. Because unless you're fighting 4 times a year, you're going to have to work. So like I got injured one day, right? And I had to go to work. I had to go teach classes the next day, right? Because I got to make money. But I had to show it at the gym. And regardless, even if I didn't show that I was injured, everyone would have known because my knee was literally like a balloon. You know, my knee was swollen up like crazy. So everybody kind of knew, you know, and you know how it is. Like, you know, I don't know what you guys do, but at your job, whatever, like maybe you're doing really well at your job, right? And people don't like that. So they're like, you know what? We want to see this guy lose. We want to see him get fucked up. Which is crazy because in my line of work, me getting fucked up is me going unconscious on the fucking canvas. So my coworkers, that's my theory. My coworkers at that job, I believe somebody told the dude that, hey, his knee is fucking wrecked. So like it's wrecked bad. So he knew my knee was messed up. You know what I'm saying? Because he went for the knee right off the bat. You guys can watch the fight. It's on Twitter. Actually, matter of fact, let's pull up the fight. Hold on, fuck that. We'll pull up the fight. So I'm gonna show you guys what I mean. And let's see, I don't know if the full fight is on Twitter, but so here we go. Let's see here. Miller versus Adzo. I mean, it should be on here. It is on here somewhere. If the full fight is on here, you'll see like what I mean. Out of all the strikes he could have went for, the very first one he went for. So now look at this. So this is me at 170. You see like my face is all sunken in. I'm like super skinny, so I cut crazy weight. And I'll mind you, I'm 6'4" in real life. Miller was a shorter guy. Now let's find the actual fight. So to be honest, like for me, a lot of it was literally just poor management, which is my fault, because like I was doing it all on my own. I had like, for the Miller fight, I went into that fight. Damn, I can't find it. For the Miller fight, I went into that fight with no coach, no team, just myself. And it was a lot of weird shit going on in that fight. No excuses, but these are just the facts of the matter. You know what I'm saying? So I learned a lot in my first half of my fight career. Can't imagine cutting to 170 trying to get back to that weight. Bro, it was brutal. Super brutal. Ode to Kevin Holland. These dudes just got to fight more. Yeah, exactly. Kevin Holland's making millions. Kevin Holland's literally making millions because he fights so often and he's getting paid probably like, $300,000 maybe every time he wins. Maybe more if he gets a bonus. Like Kevin Holland's getting paid. Kevin Holland is interested in me because he has a path to become the champion now that he's staying at 170. I think he's really a dark horse for the division because, he's fought many high-level fighters at this point, and he's really good. No one can say Kevin Holland isn't good. So no one's just going to, like, bulldoze Kevin at this point, I want to see him smack up Wes Watson. We all want to see that. Wes Watson's such a clown. There's a whole, like, alpha male universe on YouTube of these clowns. Like, these alpha male gurus. Basically, you just got to take their course and pay them, $10,000 a month, and they're going to show you how to be a real man. But yeah, man, so to go back to Jesse's question, I learned a lot, man, from the fight game, and love it. I love it. There's nothing like it. Let's see, whoever pays for that is natural selection. That's a fact. But it's funny because it is natural selection, but like for me, like in real life, I'm a trainer, right? I'm one of the best trainers in California. And there's a lot of people out there who literally just don't know how to defend themselves or don't have male role models or didn't have like an older brother or whatever growing up, and they just want to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And they're just gullible. And that's the issue with guys like Wes Watson. There's people who like want to be tough guys. Because, like, for example, on my channel, a lot of people who are on my channel, a lot of people who are on my channel are regular dudes who are alpha male dudes, you know. And then there's some dudes who just literally just want to learn how to fight because they got beat up, and then they want to better themselves, and then they come to my channel, they learn how to fight, and then boom, their whole shit changes. I've seen it happen so many times. But guys like Wes Watson, it's kind of sad. Dudes without dads are like that. I mean, not all dudes without dads are like that. There's plenty of dudes who don't have dads who are fucking alpha males. You know what I'm saying? It's more so like dudes who don't have strong male role models or a male presence in their life. They just don't know how to be a man. You know what I'm saying? And then those are the types of people who are willing to pay Wes Watson $10,000. You know, like some like kids who have a bunch of money who are like, damn, I want to be like Wes because he looks like he's a cool dude and he looks like a tough guy, but he's really not. You know, $49.95, and just like that, you've made your first step in a man's shoes. That's a fact. So pretty much dudes without dads. Nah, not necessarily, because not everyone's dad is an alpha male. Not everyone's dad is a real dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, not to say you're not a real dad, but for example, my dad, right, which it was Father's Day, so this is perfect. So my dad, for one, I'm African, I'm an immigrant, right? So my dad was an alpha male, is an alpha male dude. Growing up, it was his way, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? There was no like, he showed us how to be a man. He like showed up to everything he needed to do. He took care of all his responsibilities. But there's some people's dads who are super soft and they're growing up and that's what they're seeing. So that's the thing. Not everyone's dad is the same. Like my dad is a dude who doesn't matter if he's 60 years old, doesn't matter how old he is. He's a dude who just stands on principles, you know? And he's a dude who came from West Africa, didn't even know how to speak the language here, and made it happen, you know? And was able to move his whole family over, and like got a degree and all this shit and just really like built his life up. So not everyone's dad is the same, you know? But some of these dudes, maybe their dad's soft and they're like, I want to be a man, you know, I feel like a pussy. All right, let me pay Wes Watson $10,000. It's like, for example, you seen those videos of people who go to these alpha male camps and basically they like just yell at these dudes and like beat the shit out of them, and these dudes paid them like $10,000 to do it. So I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. Men are getting more and more feminine every day. Testosterone's on the decline, you know. Like there's so many videos, like the movies back in the day with Sylvester Stallone and like Rambo, First Blood, like shit like this, Rocky movies. Like those dudes were like men's men, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the type of shit I'm used to, you know what I'm saying? And nowadays, even in the movies, you know, all these dudes are pussified. You know what I'm saying? So let me see. He didn't offer a highway. Shit, I'm gonna die again. Fuck. Here we go. He didn't offer you a highway. Fear would embarrass his name. He didn't offer you the highway in fear you would embarrass. Yeah, no, that's one thing. Like, there's a lot of pride with the family name. You know, so my name, Adzo, is an African name. It's a military name. You know, it's very well respected, especially in West Africa. So for me, I have to make sure that I represent, you know, because you guys in the chat are going to meet a million people in your life, right? You're probably never going to meet someone with the name Adzo. There's very few people in the world with the name Adzo. So for me, like, yeah, the family name is like very important, you know, and that's actually one of the reasons I fight. You know, I wanted to be the first champion from Togo. You know, look at that. We ate that. Let's see. It's weird. It's weird. I'm an alpha male, but I don't try to be one. It's natural. I'm very athletic, and women get women easily. But it's not bragging. It's just right. It's normal. So, yeah, exactly. Like, yeah, same. Like, but that's what I'm saying right there. So look at that right there. That's what I'm saying. So that's ultimately what it comes down to. You know, everybody wants to just get pussy. So these dudes are getting no pussy. And they're like, damn, what's going on? Like, why am I not getting pussy? Why is this ugly dude getting chicks? What the fuck's going on? And then they see someone like Wes Watson, who has a Bugatti, right? He has the chick, right? She's pretty attractive, let's be real. But let's be honest, you know what I'm saying? She's probably only with him because he has money. So these guys see that and they're like, you know what? I want that life, you know? But the reason that someone like you're able to get chicks is because you've done the work in your life. You probably go to the gym regularly. You know, women are attracted to basically just dudes bettering themselves, right? And as long as you're not like overly obsessed with them, you're not going to scare them away. So that's where these guys, like Wes Watson is a dude, I doubt he even gets girls for real. If he has no money, he's probably getting no chicks. A lot of it, oh, and one second, I'm about to fuck this guy up and I'm going to read that. A lot of it is like you say, whatever raises you plays a significant role in your personality. My father was very aggressive and so was my mother. You see, and my mother, so was my mother. It was expected of me to be mean. Yeah, I don't think like being mean necessarily makes you like an alpha or anything like that. It's more of like, look at this pussy right here. He just fucking ran. It's more of like, I don't even know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? I think an alpha is more about like the biggest issue. Let me see. I'm Gen X. You're either a man, nerd, or gay. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You know, nowadays, you have these kids who are super confused and literally just don't know how to be men. You know, because they don't know if they want to be gay. They don't know if they're supposed to be super feminine to get chicks. They just don't know what's going on. You know? And that's what a lot of the kids that I train or like that. Like right now I'm training a dude who is like, my whole goal is to make him not a pussy anymore. And I literally tell him like, hey, fucking hit the bag. Like, let's fucking go. Like, hit the fucking bag. I fucking yell at this dude. And the thing is, he never had somebody yell at him. And I could give a fuck if he comes back to training or not. You know what I'm saying? If you come and train with me, you're going to get your ass on that bag. I'm going to fuck you up. You're going to go hard. You're going to give me everything you got because that's how I was trained. So that's my whole purpose training this dude is like making sure that he becomes tougher. And he loves the training because no one ever told him and yelled at him before, like, hey, fucking hit the bag. Like, quit being a bitch, you know? And he's like, damn, you know what? I'm actually tough. Like, I'm actually not a pussy. Like, whoa, I didn't realize that. So a lot of people in this new generation with the helicopter parents and all that, they just didn't have, like, people yelling at them and, like, telling them, like, hey, you're, like, fucking go. Like, let's fucking go. You know? Like, when you see fighters in the back room, that's why I love fighting as well, because it's just like it's just a man space, you know, like we yell at each other like, hey, let's fucking go. Don't be a pussy. Like, let's go. You know what I'm saying? Like, fucking do it. And that's what more people need, you know? That's what I found, at least in the people I train. Especially the kids, like, who are getting bullied and shit like that. Their parents just don't want to offend them or some shit, you know what I'm saying? So that's perfect what you said there, Damon. I'm Gen X. You're either a man, nerd, or gay. Exactly. And let's say you're gay. That doesn't mean that you're a bitch. You know, if you're gay, you know, you still be a fucking man. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, don't let nobody push you over. Don't be scared to fucking stand up for yourself. I think ultimately that's why people pay that 10,000. You know. So with that being said, guys, I'm running my alpha male course, and it's gonna be 20,000. So pull up. Nah, I'm fucking. I would never do that. Let's see, like Jackson begging his son to eat his meat. I don't know what you're referring to with that one. Let's see here. Like Jackson begging his son to eat his meat. Oh, you're talking about because he's vegan? Let's see. Oh, you aren't even a RuneScape content creator, just noticed. Yeah, I'm not even a RuneScape content. People don't even know I play RuneScape. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been playing RuneScape for a long time. I've had many accounts. This account is the account I've had on old school. I've had multiple 99 maxed out accounts. Like, I've been playing this game for 20 years. But no, on my channel makes you 10 times more like, well, my man. Now my channel is more like, I teach people how to fight. I have my fights. Maybe I'll start getting more RuneScape content out there because I love the community and stuff like that. But yeah, mostly it's about, my whole thing is about fighting and martial arts. Let's see, Rampage is an elite fighter, can't be a vegan. Well, it's funny you said, because Nick Diaz was a vegan, and so was Nate Diaz. But no, I agree. I don't think you can be an elite fighter and be a vegan. I just don't think it really makes sense. I think if you're gonna be optimal, you need to have, like, let's say you're a vegan maybe 3 days out the week, and then 3 days out the week you eat meat. Because I think our bodies are designed to not eat meat every single day. You know what I'm saying? I think that's how we're not supposed to be eating meat every day, especially steak. So I think it's a combination. Let's see. Sorry, I've been watching Rampage and his boy Train. You've been watching the Jackson. Fun story about Rampage. One of the first people I trained with when I moved out to California was Rampage. This was like right before he was about to fight Fedor. I trained at this gym called HB Ultimate, and I met Rampage, and it was a trip because I was like, damn, I would watch Rampage, growing up, and now I'm training with him. It was a trip. And then also the first fight I ever saw was Tito Ortiz versus Ken Shamrock. And fast forward a few years, when I moved to California, I was actually training with Tito for his fight with Liam McGarry. And the fight that he ended up winning, or did he beat Liam McGarry? No, I don't know if he won that fight, but I helped him train for that fight. And it was funny just how things came back full circle. Let's see, facts. Good seeing black brothers like me playing RuneScape. Respect, bro. My man, what's your name on RuneScape? I'm gonna add you right now. Yeah, people don't know. A lot of people play RuneScape. Like, for example, Soldier Boy plays RuneScape. Did you know that? Most people didn't know that. You'd be surprised at the people who play this game, actually. A lot of millionaires play this game. A lot of, like, highly successful people play this game. A lot of athletes, like, it's very interesting, like, some of the people I've met playing this game. Let's see. Rampage was champion. No disrespect towards Diaz. Diaz was also a champion, though. Diaz was Strikeforce champion. Nate Diaz was the BMF champion, no? Oh, I don't know. Was he BMF champion? I mean, but Nick Diaz specifically was a champion. He was the Strikeforce champion. He had other championships outside the UFC. that were pretty significant belts. So, a lot of people think those belts don't matter, but if we really look at it, when the Strikeforce guys came over to UFC, the Strikeforce guys were whooping the UFC guys' asses, and they basically took all the belts. So, love my man J Fresh Killer. Hey, what's your Instagram? What's your RuneScape name? I'm gonna turn my PM on. Just add me on the game. My name on the game is just Emanuele. All right, but we're gonna get killed. We're gonna get killed right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's really any champions that have been vegan. Got him. Let's laugh at him real quick. So, yeah, I don't really think there's been any champions that have been vegan that I can remember, other than Nick Diaz. Let's see here. Strikeforce called it. Yeah. So let's talk about that flop that happened in the UFC over the weekend. We talked about it earlier, but we got more people in the chat now. I mean, I think it's just fucking hilarious. I'm about to watch this shit again. Let's see here. There we go. Look at this shit. I know some of you guys don't even watch MMA, so you guys think this is real or not? I tend to think in terms of UFC. Yeah, most people do. What do you guys think? You guys think this is a legit, like, did he actually get KO'd or not? It's fakest shit I've ever seen. People always talk trash on Aljo, but like, let's talk about Aljo for a second. When Aljo got KO'd by, what was the dude's name? Peter Yan. I mean, that was a hard knee, and that's for a championship. Yeah. In my opinion, that was more legit. This one is like, you didn't get knocked out. When dudes get knocked out, they don't fucking move. Nah, that's a Jeremy Stevens reference. But now, when dudes get knocked out, they don't just wake up like that. You'll wake up in a little while, but you don't just jolt back awake. Like, what I think happened was he heard Paul Craig and the referee talking, and he was scared of getting losing by a real knockout because he was maybe worried about the ref saying, "Oh, okay, you just got knocked out, you lost." So that's why you see him jump back up and like pretend like he just woke back up. Such a goofball. But hey, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying, I guess, right? I mean, if you could get a quick win like that, I guess, but it's just kind of a pussy way to fight, kind of a pussy way to win. I think Aljo definitely should have been rebooked instantly. Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that one. Matter of fact, let's talk about Aljo, right? So Sean O'Malley got the belt from Aljo, right? What I don't like is how when he got the belt from Aljo, they kind of set Aljo up to lose. Because if I recall, Aljo got the belt from Peter Yan. I believe they fought twice, right? Yeah, they fought twice. Aljo whooped Peter Yan's ass the second time. And then he fought Sean O'Malley within, it was like less than 2 months or so. He had a fight with O'Malley. So they literally set him up to lose because they know that he can't recover from a weight cut that fast after cutting weight like that. So that's why you see in the fight, he wouldn't fight Merab, but that's why you see in the fight O'Malley knock him out so quickly because he literally is drained from cutting weight. So I think they should run that fight back. Aljo versus O'Malley 2. I don't think O'Malley wins that fight at all in a rematch with everything normal circumstances. No weird shit, no goofy stuff, no, hey, you just cut weight. And if you remember that fight in the post fight or in the after Aljo won the belt, the thing Sean kept saying was, "Oh, you better get ready to cut weight soon. You better get ready to cut weight soon," because he knew that basically he was getting set up by UFC to lose. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I think Aljo got the shit in a stick. I think UFC burned Aljo and he didn't move up. And didn't he move up? I think he did move up. Yeah, that's right. And he's performing better. He's performing better at the higher weight, which kind of goes back to my theory from earlier. You know, when fighters move up in weight, usually they win. Usually they perform way better, and usually they win. But WHMMA in the chat, you know, they do the best like top 5 videos. In a second, we'll pull up some of their videos and watch. Matter of fact, we'll do it right now. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna watch because WHMMA just posted a video on the top five knockout or top 5 teep kick, push kick knockouts. I think it's a damn good video. So we're about to watch that right quick. Sean Aljo 2 would be a banger for sure. Yeah, that's a fact. All right, let's watch this shit.
They don't get to look at monitors. Is that they don't get to look at monitors.
That one wasn't really a team kick. I feel like Chandler just kind of threw his leg up and got lucky. Like this one right here, that's what I like that. Snap kick. That's why I was working with this.
Vitor looking for the big left hand. Outstanding head movement by Anderson. Like we said, second to none.
Nasty. I've been working that as well. Southpaw. Nasty. And this one right here, one of the most legendary knockouts of all time. Karate Kid style.
Oh my goodness! It's all over!
Back to his feet.
Broken legs, top 5 broken legs.
They both missed.
Yeah, this is brutal right here.
Yeah, they both missed. It looked like they came together.
He fell back on his own ankle and broke it. He actually broke his leg.
Yeah, it's bad.
I'll be right back.
That's actually, whereas other guys have stood flat-footed in front of him and allowed Anderson to get his timing down and launch shots. There's a good shot to the body.
Oh, nice.
He checked it. No. He heard him. Watch this. He checks it. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow. That's about as obvious as it gets.
Yeah,
and as I told you, John Danaher, oh my God. John Danaher
broke Anderson still his leg like that. And Weidman got his leg broken like that.
Joe, where did
Hey guys, check out WHMMA as well.
Right below the knee. Right below the knee. And it immediately snaps in half. Come on, take a look at it here. Look at this.
I'm not going to look
through this one.
Just tell me.
It mirrored what happened with him.
We lost so much money PKing tonight. Crazy. But, you know, I was talking to you guys in the chat. So we got pieced up a bit, but I ain't over yet. Might be able to make some moves back.
I understand that. I will give him a pat, but
so this one right here is actually one of the guys I fought, Tyson Miller. Oh, I'm gonna go back to that. Watch that. This is one of the guys I fought, Tyson Miller. The guy who broke the other dude's leg. You'll see it right here.
Trained to do.
Nasty.
He's broke his leg.
oh my God.
Bro, Davey,
I understand that. I will give him a pat, but oh my God.
And you see exactly the norm.
And this one's obviously the worst. Hill versus
Dale showing a lot of head movement, eats a nice kick. Oh, Corey fell down. Oh, his leg's broken. His leg's broken. Oh,
This fight is going to be stopped. The fight is all over. Corey Hill has suffered a broken leg.
So, all right, now we're going to go back. Now we're going to go break people in the game like that. Yeah, man, MMA is a brutal sport. I hope I never get, knock on wood, I never break a bone like that. But, you know, going into the fight, you can't care about none of that. You know, you just have to work on your technique, make sure your defense is tight, and go into the fight and just do your best. But, yeah, all types of things can happen in that cage, you know. You never really know what you're going to get. And that's one of the things about fighting is like you can never really you can't expect anything. That's one of the biggest things I learned from fighting. Show the head dent. The head dent, which one is that? We're talking about Michael Page? Oh yeah, that's brutal. Yeah, that was crazy. Bro could have died. Yeah, you just really never know what you're gonna get in the fight. You know, like I guarantee you, Cyborg didn't go into that fight thinking, you know what, I might get my head dented tonight. You know, MMA is so unpredictable. And for me, for a while there, I was trying to control what was going to happen in the fight, or trying to go into the fight and be like, this is what's gonna happen, this is how it's gonna go. And now when I go in the fight, I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I'm just going to go in, do my best every single time, you know, and try to make an exciting fight for the fans out there. You know what I'm saying? And people watching, especially people watching who come from all over the world to watch one of my fights. Damn, we almost got this dude out of here. But where are you guys from? You guys in Cali? Because if you're in California, my next fight is either might be in LA, or it's going to be in Burbank or Orange County. So if you're in California, if you're in Orange County, definitely come to that. And depending where you are, I might be fighting, you know, in that area at some point. You know, I'm looking to get some fights in Missouri this year as well. Damn. I'm looking to get some fights in Missouri this year as well. You know, I'm looking to just run it up, have a fight, you know, have a fight in October, September, whatever. And then depending how that goes, hopefully there's no injuries. Hopefully I have a great performance, and then have another fight immediately. But I don't even want to look that far ahead, because that's a mistake. You know, you just gotta take him one fight at a time. But yeah, I'm getting fucking wrecked right now on this game. Holy shit, getting destroyed. But so yeah, let's talk about the Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill fight. How you guys see that fight going? How you see that playing out? I think that's a really interesting fight, because Jamal Hill, to me, he's not like, I just can't put my finger on it. He's not like crazy technical, or he doesn't really do anything like crazy dynamic or crazy impressive, but he became the champion, right? So clearly he has something. You know what I'm saying? And when I see Khalil Roundtree had a crazy fight with Alex Perry. When I see Khalil Roundtree, I just don't really see how Jamal Hill is going to be able to beat Khalil Roundtree. You know, Jamal Hill's never been a dude to go in there and like have great wrestling and nasty wrestling and piece people up. We haven't seen that from him, right? So I think betting on Khalil Roundtree is a lock. I was actually supposed to train with Khalil Roundtree a couple months. It was like a month ago, I think. We were gonna do some sparring, but you know, had some injuries and stuff like that, so wasn't able to make it. But who knows? You know, he comes out here to Orange County. The Jackson podcast is out here in Orange County, so They have this whole studio in Orange County. Never underestimate Hill. Will you think Hill's going to win that fight? How do you think he's going to win? By knockout? You know, you have to remember Hill's coming off some big injuries as well with the Achilles tendon thing. And with that, it's a pretty bad injury. I messed up my ankle a few years ago when I moved to California. And before I went pro, I was going to have an amateur fight. I was trying to get some money. You know, I had needed to get some bread, so I had to do DoorDash. And I was doing DoorDash. I went to this place in Laguna Beach, you know, super fancy, super wealthy people. And these fucking guys left their dog out. They had an attack dog. And I went to deliver the food, dropped it off. Their dog crept around the back and literally attacked me. And my ankle got like, just, I had to run. I was in crazy shape. I was in ridiculous shape. I was in such good shape. Like I ran, hopped over the fence, which this is in Laguna Beach. Laguna Beach has a lot of like cliffs. So I hopped over basically a cliff, and I slid down, but I was in such good shape that I almost outran the dog. And anyways, the reason I bring that up is because that injury took damn near 2 years to heal from, the ankle injury. So Jamal Hill had I believe he ruptured his Achilles tendon. So he's probably not fully healed from that at all. You know, I think that's one thing you're gonna see. In this fight. You know, in the Alex Pereira fight, he wasn't really able to move as well. That's why he got knocked out. But he's a good fighter for sure. All right, here we go. Let's lock in for a second. About to get this dude out of here. All right, let's go. So I think let me see. They're both needing a win. I mean, Jamal Hill really needs that win. You know, Khalil Roundtree, he lost to Alex Pereira, yeah, but it was like one of the best performances and one of the best fights of the year. So really, Jamal Hill needs that win badly, real bad. The fight I want to see is Jamal Hill versus Jiri Prochazka. I feel like that's an interesting fight. It's a really good fight. Oh no, they already fought, and Jiri knocked him out. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, so Jamal Hill needs that fight badly. He needs that win real bad. You know, and when he fought Yuri came out with really good head movement and really good technical striking skills. You know, and that's why I think this fight is a horrible fight for Jamal, because Khalil Roundtree has really good technical striking skills. Jamal Hill doesn't necessarily have, I don't want to say he doesn't have the technical striking skills, because he clearly does, but there's just, I don't know how to put my finger on it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how to put my finger on it, but there's just a clear discrepancy in skill. I think Jamal Hill is a really good fighter. I think he's really tough. When it comes to skill, I just don't see him beating Khalil Roundtree, you know? And it's funny because that's actually what he said. He said he doesn't see him beating. He's a desperate Jamal Hill is dangerous. But, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, as a fighter, sometimes that desperation will work against you, because Khalil is going to be coming into that fight and he's going to be extremely confident, because he just went like blow for blow, round for round with one of the best knockout artists we've ever seen in the sport. And he didn't get embarrassed. Like, he held his own. you know, and he had one of the best fights of the year. So, as to where when Jamal fought that guy, he got knocked out quick, you know? He overestimates his own skill. Exactly. That's one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Khalil's a more well-rounded fighter for sure. Yeah, I think that fight has the potential to be one of the best fights of the year. You know, I think that's a great, hell of a fight. And I think everybody's talking about John Jones fighting Tom Aspinall. That fight's gonna happen. I think the what's it called? John Jones versus Francis Ngannou fight. I see that fight happening now. Because Francis came out to Kamaru Usman's fight. Damn, that guy got lucky as fuck. He came out to Kamaru Usman's fight, and when you start to see stuff like that, Francis showing up at the fights and whatnot, very good chance that he's going to end up back in the UFC. If he ends up back in the UFC, I think he knocks Tom Aspinall out. I love John Jones, but I don't think John Jones beats Francis. I think Francis is just a fucking beast, man. I don't care about meeting any fighters. The only fighter I really want to meet is Francis Ngannou, just because his backstory. And we're going to get into his backstory, actually. After this fight, after I kill this dude, I'm going to pull up his backstory. Sometimes I'm like, damn, I'm sore today, or this and that. Like, I got this going on. Like, nobody can complain. Like, there's people out there who are fucking insane minds and have no prospects for their life. Francis Ngannou literally traveled to across the damn ocean just for the possibility to be able to fight in boxing. And then he actually gets the chance and the opportunity to fight in boxing, and he whoops Tyson Fury's ass. It's crazy. That's why he's one of my favorite fighters of all time, because just like he's able to make shit happen. You know what I'm saying? He's like a savant. He's not just winning these fights and shit because he's a fucking athlete. Like, no, that's like kind of in a way disrespecting what he's been able to achieve. He's winning these fights because he's clearly like really smart and really good. Because you could take any NBA player, any football player, like Greg Hardy, right? Greg Hardy is clearly a good athlete, great athlete. And he got his fucking salad toss when he came over to MMA, right? He got fucking destroyed, right? So it's not about being an athlete. You see, if I was Tom, I'd dog walk the whole division until John's begged to fight me. What's the thing? John's never gonna beg to fight him because John, I don't know if you guys knows, but John Jones, bro, that dude's rich as fuck. Ridiculously rich. Like, he's killing it. He doesn't need the fight anymore. Oh, we're gonna risk it. Got him out of there. That was sick. Yeah, that was super sick. It was fucking $3 million. Not the best kill, but that KO was nice. That was a sick, slick KO. That was perfect timing. We got a guy in here, Pesh. Oh yeah, Pesh. Pesh says he's risking 80 mil. Let's fight him. But here's the thing. Pesh is an AHKer. So if I kill him, we're gonna get all the money we lost back, then some. We're gonna be in the green. But he's using the computer to play for him. So I don't know if he's worth fighting, to be honest. Bro's cheating like crazy. But let's go back to we're gonna watch another highlight because I love these highlight videos. Here we go. The fact that
This is the head
Usman
kick
was able to
knockout.
just
Wait
destroy
for it.
Buckley,
Bang!
Oh, bro, it
crazy
doesn't
impressive.
get any
Chin on
cleaner.
chin. Drops him. Steps over him here.
He felt the impact of that even
Honestly,
through his
Tom is an
arms.
interesting
That
fight
was a
for
big
John.
shot.
For me, the matter of John's actually destroyed Tom. 9 out of 10 fights. Yeah, I
Did it
agree.
again.
I mean, to
Look
me,
how much
I
power
feel
he
like
puts in this.
Coiling
Look at this.
himself, just coiled.
Boom!
That looks like old Mike Tyson right there. Mike would be zipping, rolling
Like,
in, just
I
lunging
honestly
into
believe
those
that.
shots.
I mean, he literally threw his whole
You know,
body with
I feel
all
like
his
Tom just
explosive
really
force
hasn't
into that right hand.
done enough to where it's like
Buckley times
super
the right
exciting,
hand.
you know,
Final
like
seconds of round
especially
one.
for the hardcore fans who've been there for a long time.
Buckley is
Like,
an
million
absolute
times.
beatdown.
But there it is. I'd say they want
That
this.
could be
You know, like
Roll to it.
what's it called?
looking for that step.
Yeah, he's a good fighter. He beat Sergey, whatever. But you look at Sergey or the white Ngannou.
Yeah, just kind of like
he beat
That
him,
kind of
but
took him out.
If we look at
Buckley
that
buckled
fight,
him, you could say. No,
that guy
it
went
was
on
the
a losing
uppercut as
streak
well. That was
afterwards,
beautiful.
right? So how good is
They're
Tom
so
Brady?
even on
He's
top of
obviously a good
strikes at the
fighter.
moment.
I think
Let's take a look. Boom. Perfect. Catches the
think-
kick.
for me, it's not like a super exciting matchup, him fighting John Jones. It's a cool matchup, you know, but it's like, okay, if John Jones beats him, it's just going to be like, okay, it's another win. You know, it really doesn't add any significance. John Jones fighting Ngannou, that's an interesting fight. But it's funny to me, like, Damon, I know you've been watching MMA a long time. You have a lot of people, these new guys who just started watching. Like, I seen this video the other day. This guy was talking about debunking John Jones's career. And he just went through every single one of his wins and just tried to downplay, like, what he's been able to accomplish, which is insane. You know? Like, they're saying, like, oh, John Jones fought Lyoto Machida. Lyoto Machida was undersized. John Jones fought such and such. Oh, this is a good kill right here. John Jones fought such and such. He fought Vitor, and Vitor submitted him and broke his arm. Like, it's just ridiculous. Like, people, that's why it's like the John Jones fight, the Aspinall fight. Oh, there we go. Got him out of there. Destroyed him. There's a 4 mil right there. Boom. All right. So now we just made what? Like, that's 6-7 mil. So this might be the setup right here. Claws with this setup seems to be working pretty well. Nice. So yeah, like, for example, people are saying, oh, he fought Chael Sonnen. Well, Chael Sonnen was outside of his prime. No, Chael Sonnen was quite literally in his prime when they fought. Like, he just came off that big performance where he lost to Anderson Silva, but like, he was literally in his prime, right? Like, it's just ridiculous. But Chael Sonnen, underrated fighter, you know? He was a good fighter back in the day. He's more than anything, he was crazy entertaining. Here we go. We're gonna get another big kill tonight. But Damon, what do you think about this game? Have you ever played this game? And anybody in the chat, pull up the World 18 if you're playing. And come get wrecked. Make sure you hit that like button as well. All right, we're gonna chill here for a second. Try to find someone to fight. But yeah, next video I'm posting is multiple kick drills. We're fighting this dude I've never played. You play any games? We're fighting this dude many slaps. I call him Slaphead. I fought this dude before. I call him Slaphead. So yeah, we got Central C here. Now this time Central C is not going to have a chance in this setup that I'm currently in. I just got to be careful because that's how this person plays. Like they just try to spec right off the bat. Fuck. Damn it. See, I was a COD player. I was in a COD clan that competed. Competed? Oh shit, so then you were fucking good then. Yeah, I played a lot of COD back in the day as well. I used to be damn good at COD. Like in high school, bro, I was fucking killing it. You know, this was like before there was like people were playing professionally and shit. You know, nowadays, and actually, there's one thing, and maybe I'll start, oh shit. We don't want to accidentally skull. Maybe I'll start playing COD. I'm gonna buy a PS5. So we died, but it is what it is. We're gonna go back out there and do it again. But one thing we figured out is this setup is nasty. The setup is real nasty. The claws with the oath plate gear. It's fucking disgusting. I haven't played since WW2. Yeah. Yeah, that one was pretty fun as well. I love that one. That was the first COD that I played. I love that shit. I love that one. To me, is better than all the new ones. My favorite one was Modern Warfare 2 and yeah, WW2. Like that game was ridiculously fun. And the graphics, the feeling it had, you know, it had like a real like I don't even know what you would call it, but it just had like a good vibe about it, you know? It felt pretty real. All right, let's go back out there. Go back, go get some kills. But yeah, man, I've been gaming. Oh, this dude's risking bank as well. Bear PK. We got some people risking bank in here. Oh yeah, and I appreciate you guys for subscribing as well. See, we've gotten since we've been streaming here, we've gotten 20 new subscribers. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. Hit that like button as well. So yeah, we got pieced up a couple kills, but you know, it's been a good stream so far. Let's see. All right, we're gonna go back. We're gonna avenge some of these losses. So I'm gonna keep the whip on and put the Fury on, and we're gonna keep this setup going. DDP versus Hamzat. How do you guys see that fight playing out? I liked how you said, Ilya is going to win by body shot. That's very specific. That's extremely specific. Why do you think it's going to be a body shot? Ilya has great body shots, but that's just very interesting to me. You chose a body shot. The reason I chose a Darce choke for Oliveira is because Ilya is a short, compact dude, and that's the perfect move for a tall guy to put on the shorter man on the ground. And Oliveira is like really good at that move as well. You know, triangle chokes. I don't see him getting a triangle choke. I see more of a Darce type of thing happening. You know, because Michael Chandler is a similar build to Ilya. And when Michael Chandler and Oliveira fought, Chandler got hit with the left hook almost and got knocked out, from what I recall. So Ilya's combos are insane. I've seen a rib shot hurt him bad. Which fight was that? Best boxers right now off the top of my head in the UFC. Man, I mean, to be the best boxers off the top of my head right now in the UFC are Ilia Topuria, that Josh Van dude, and what's his name? JDM, Jack Della Magdalena. Those two dudes right now, in my opinion, are the best boxers in the UFC. And obviously you have Alex Pereira and shit like that in there. You have I remember who that whip shot was thinking. I remember who you were talking about. That was I remember who hurt Charles Oliveira with, but I remember Ilya getting a nasty rib shot earlier in his career in the UFC on somebody and knocking him out. But also, you know, Ilya's first fight in the UFC, he almost got knocked out by some dude. And it's funny because some of the fight game is luck, because if Ilya would have just zigged when he should have zagged in that fight and he got head kicked, his story is he never becomes a champion probably, or maybe he does at some point, but his story is just completely different. You know what I'm gonna do? This next time I fight this dude, I know how I'm gonna get him out of here. Oh wow, I didn't have my Barrows gloves on. That's why we're not hitting. All right, let me get out of here. We're gonna reset. Forgot my Barrows gloves. But yeah, so those are the best boxers right now in the UFC, in my opinion. Ilia Topuria, Jack Della Magdalena, Josh Van, and I mean, Khalil Roundtree, pretty good boxer. Khalil Roundtree is definitely a good boxer in the UFC. In his fight with Alex Pereira, he only was really using boxing essentially, you know, which was interesting to me because he was doing really, really well with the boxing against Alex Pereira. And that was kind of weird, wasn't it? Because I guess the way to beat Alex Pereira would be, you know, you have to have really good boxing. And, you know, Ankalaev, who was primarily a striker, also had really good boxing. All right, here we go. We're going to kill this dude now. We're going to get this dude out of here. This guy's been pissing me off for a very long time. Also, although hold on one second. Also, if Aldo had sat back and Conor, and yeah, exactly, and that story just becomes completely different than at that point. You know, it's just interesting. The fight game there is a lot of luck that goes into it. You know, people don't want to admit that, but there is a whole lot of luck that goes into it. If you do a zig when you should have zagged, that's why someone who remains undefeated for so long, like John Jones, is just crazy impressive. Like, you imagine if John Jones didn't finish Chael Sonnen in the first round of their fight, he would have lost that fight because his toe was ripped off. and then he would have had 2 losses on his career. Khabib, same thing. If he would have, some people believe that he lost the fight to Gleason Tebow. If he had the wrong judges in that fight, Khabib's story completely different. He would have never been the undefeated fighter, the undefeated Dagestani champion fighter, All right, let's get this. Let's kill this dude. But someone I think who's lurking right now, who has huge potential, is Dan Hooker. I think Dan Hooker is going to make a run. I think Dan Hooker would beat someone like Ilya. I don't know. I don't know what it is. I just feel like Hooker's style, especially what he showed in that last fight with Gamrot, I think it's a horrible matchup for someone like Ilya. We got him. He's dead. Smart man. I hate fighting dudes like this. This guy's like so annoying. He's in shitty gear. He doesn't risk anything. And then he just sits here, fights like a little bitch. So fucking annoying. Ilya is the new boogeyman. Yeah, anyone who wins that 145-pound belt is going to be a problem. I think 145 is actually like the most skilled division. If you win that belt, you're one of the best fighters in the sport. All right, let's see if he runs. I think this dude's going to end up running. Here we go. And yeah, Ilya's the new boogeyman for now, but there's a lot of guys, let's be real, there's a lot of guys that in that weight class who could take him out. Like, I don't think Ilya beats Arman. I think Arman's a nightmare matchup for Ilya. Arman's obviously going to get destroyed on the feet with the boxing, but when it comes to the ground game, like, I don't think, which Ilya has a good ground game, but I don't think many people in that weight class can touch Arman. Arman went hand to hand, went round for round with Islam on the ground. So we'll see, how it plays out. But that's a real exciting fight. And that fight is this Saturday. So I'm gonna make some videos on that as well. Here we go. Let's see if we can get this dude out of here this time. So yeah, Arman, a lot of people were giving him shit because he pulled out of the fight in LA when he was having back issues. Of course, this dude runs. Problem is, he's not going to be able to escape. I'm about to fucking block this dude, man. Holy shit. This guy got me again. Oh no, back issues are a bad thing. Yeah, I mean, back issues are no joke, I had a real bad back injury when I first started training. I had to sleep on the floor for months. But yeah, I hate players like this because like this dude is literally risking 1 mil. I'm risking 10 mil. I'm gonna switch up my whole style and I'm just gonna be in shitty gear. And I'm just going to, because he's gotten 2 kills on me now. That shit pisses me off. Damn, we lost so much money tonight. We lost literally like probably like 40, 50 mil tonight so far. So for Damon, like in this game, it takes a long time to make 50 mil. It can. Only ways you're going to make 50 mil fast is like by PKing, or if you do PVM, like player versus monster, and you get a big kill, lucky drop, which, you know, for like a big kill, which is pretty hard to kill the bosses, like it might be like every 4,000 kills, you have a chance of getting this, you know, crazy drop like one time, you know? So that's like how it works in PVM. Damn, I'm pissed off now. Can't believe I died to that dude. No, I'm gonna do though. Now we're gonna switch up. We're gonna go back to risking a good amount just because it's fun. Fuck it. But we're gonna switch everything up a bit. So what I'm gonna do is in this setup that I'm about to be in, I should be pretty dangerous. I'm already dangerous in this setup, but what we're gonna do now is we're gonna put on the Vesta, full Vesta armor with the Rancor, and we'll see how much of a difference it is. Yeah, it's basically the same with the Rancor, with the claws. I'm an avid watcher of video game players. Yeah, I feel you. I find myself doing that as well. You know, I don't know. It is interesting. It's a different world. You know, video games. And this game is actually a pretty fun game to watch. Like, everybody wants to be, like, for example, one of my buddies on here, PG, Pickle Gamer, he's like, oh, why are the graphics bad on this game? Or why does it look like, you know, how the graphics look on this game? Like, that's what makes it fun, to be honest. Like, every game, this game has a very unique look, has a unique feel. The game mechanics are very unique, you know? And that's what makes it fun. Like, they just put out a new game, and they would think that more people would play their new game because the graphics are better and this and that, and they have all these interesting mechanics in the game, but it doesn't work because this game is actually probably the perfect game. You know, and I don't say it lightly because I played so many games. It literally is like the perfect game. There are some things that they could do to make it better, but it's damn near perfect. I was a little brother. I watched the big brother. Yeah, that's hilarious. But yeah, this game is literally like the perfect game. I played so many games, and this is the one that I always come back to because you're playing against other players. They're real people. You know, you can do whatever you want in the game. You know, it's kind of like, you know, like for example, like a game like Grand Theft Auto was kind of similar, like in the aspect of it's a massively online multiplayer game. You can do whatever you want, and that's what makes it fun. It's called, I think it's called a sandbox game. I think that's the term for it, like Minecraft. You know, I even found myself, I used to like watch people play Minecraft. I'm like, why would you play a game? That game is trash. You know, the graphics are terrible. And I found myself, so risking 21 mil. I found myself starting to play that game, and turns out the game is actually fun. Minecraft. Let's see. Is there tournaments for this game? Yeah, there's definitely tournaments. There's tournaments. People bet a lot of money on this game. Like every time I die, and I'm dying with millions, like that's actually worth like a certain amount of money in real life. You know, so people like basically gamble on this game. It's called staking, and they make like real life money. You're not supposed to do that, but that's people do it on the game. You know, but yeah, there's tournaments. There's like what's it called? Like hybriding. So you use all the different fight styles. Right now I'm just using melee, and he's using magic and melee with this weapon that he has. This weapon that he has, he's able to use melee and magic. So that's where it gets a good benefit because it's able to like hit through. It's able to hit through my armor. So that's why everybody in this game, like right now, is using this weapon. See what I'm saying? See, I've seen people part money for gold points. Yeah, that's hilarious. And people definitely do that in this game. But like, so, for example, there's like big Chinese farms, gold farms on this game, and they're probably making millions of dollars, like, you know, every day. You know, there's a lot of bots in this game. But yeah, this game is like it's probably like, man, this game's like damn near 30 years old at this point. It's definitely close to 30 years old. I believe it's like 28 years old or something like that at this point. I mean, some people still play the old version that has like horrible graphics. These graphics are still pretty good. But being that you've never played the game before, are you able to like understand what's going on here? Like, this is me fighting this dude. You know, this is his life points right here. You can see it. You can't see my life points because it's being covered, but I have 94 life points. This is my armor setup. This is my spell book. I'm using my magic spell. So if he hits me, there's going to be a recoil effect on it. I'm at 78 hit points right now. And soon here, he's going to have another special attack because I'm pretty sure he has a surge potion. So you take these potions. CoffeeZilla was talking about the money behind the games. Hey, CoffeeZilla has great content. It's funny because I seen CoffeeZilla like some of his old content, and you see the evolution of his new content. It's like, damn, he has a whole production team. Bro's making a lot of money. That's why I want to do a mic channel eventually. You know, like I've actually been on YouTube for a while. I've been on YouTube for 8 years, but you know, with my fight career and stuff like that, I would take breaks. So for a while, I wasn't consistent. You know, Damon, you've been with the channel. You've been on the channel for a long time, actually. You're one of our longest supporters, actually. You know, I appreciate you, man, for real. Yeah, bro. So I'll take breaks, but now I'm like, nah, we're going to fully commit to making content. So that's why I've been live streaming every day. Do people agree to battle one? Yeah. In this, there's certain areas where you go 1v1. There's multiplayer areas as well, but in this specific area, it's 1v1. This is a mini game called Bounty Hunter. So there's people with the target on with the arrow on his head. That's my target. All right, let's kill him. So, you know, he tried to time me out. Didn't work, didn't go his way. We're gonna kill this dude though this time. Super slow switch. I'm gonna switch up my style now. I'm gonna put on a different ring for more accuracy. So I'm gonna hit less high, but I'm gonna have a lot more accuracy with this ring. So that's why I'm putting it on. I just want maximum accuracy. I want to hit every single time. So my bonus right now is 204 slash bonus. So I'm gonna be hitting like pretty consistently on this guy. Let's see. I don't know when I made my YouTube channel, but content watcher 3 years before my channel was made. I've been on YouTube since 2009 at least. Yeah, 2009, bro. So imagine that. Like if you consistently made content from 2009 to 2025, man, that'd be crazy. So that's my goal, like long term. Like what does it look like in year 2050 if I continue making YouTube content, you know? And honestly, it's fucking fun being on YouTube. It really is, you know? Like meet people like you who are super cool. You know, all the different people who came in through the chat today. All right, I'm gonna lock in for a second and kill this dude. Ooh, yeah, he's dead. Destroyed him. So you see that when I changed my my style, gave him basically, he had like literally no chance at all to survive that. I watched you fight one time, but the dude pulled out. I went to watch you fight that one time, but the dude pulled out. Yeah, man, that's one of the reasons that I can't remember. Was that a pro fight or was that an amateur fight? But one of the reasons, you know, people ask me all the time. That was almost 10 years ago. Yeah, bro. Because I've been in California for 8 years. So yeah, it was almost 10 years. Yeah, man. So, you know, people ask me all the time, why did I go pro after only one fight, amateur? It's because literally couldn't get any amateur fights, you know? Like I moved to California and I booked literally like, man, like probably 6-7 amateur fights. And everybody kept pulling out. Literally everybody kept pulling out back to back to back to back. And, you know, for me, like, yeah, I wish I would have been able to have more amateur fights, but not really. I'm kind of glad everything went the way it went. My jiu-jitsu career was my amateur fights. You had them scared. Yeah, because they seen like my purple belt and my highlights, and so literally couldn't get any amateur fights. Everyone used to pull out, you know. Nowadays in pro, people don't really pull out because they're getting paid. And they don't not want to be paid. And if you're pulling out of fights all the time as a pro, no one's gonna want to work with you. Especially when I'm fighting, like I'm selling a lot of tickets, so people usually aren't pulling out, and they're usually getting paid like pretty well to fight me. So yeah, everybody wants to make money and pay their rent or whatever. So I'm glad those amateur days are over with. But yeah, I've been fighting for a minute, man. I've been fighting for a good minute. Started fighting. My first fight was in 20, I believe it was 2017. You know, and I went pro in I think it was 2019 or 2020. That was pathetic. This guy tried to run up on me, and so we call that PJing, player jumping. And so he just like attacked me and then he runs. You know, this is what we call pussy shit in this game. Let me see if I can kill him. Come on, let's go. Fucking man, it's so annoying. Yeah, they pull out with the fight me in real life and they pull out the fight in the game as well. Ridiculous. But yeah, what fight was that? Was that in California that you came to see? I don't remember. Or was that in Iowa? No, that was in. It had to be in California, right? Yeah. Yeah, in LA. Yeah, I remember that. That was that fight? Was that? Yeah, there's a lot of fights. I'm looking to get back on the road though this year. You know, if not this year, next year, maybe have a fight in Iowa. Definitely have a fight in St. Louis. You know, I love St. Louis. All right, let's go see if this dude will fight me or if he will be a. Yeah, I got fucking pissed right there. My friends would walk around trying to get me into fights. Yeah, isn't that how? That's how it always goes, isn't it? All right, we got to fight. Here we go. This should be interesting. If he thinks I'm gonna skull, he's on crack. Yeah, I'm not sculling on your dumb ass. Fuck out of here. All right, hold on 1 second. I'll fight this dude, but we're not gonna risk no 200 mil on this dude. Which I fought this dude before, so we're gonna get this dude out of here because he's risking a decent amount. I'm gonna even risk a torture necklace. I'm gonna risk a torture necklace, so it's gonna be a good amount. Fighting is fun, sometimes tough, life or death. Yeah, if you can avoid getting into a fight, avoid it, you know, because you just never know what's going to happen in a fight, you know? You might get stabbed, like, things could go left in a heartbeat. Especially in a street fight, there's no rules. Especially in LA, you just never know. Oh, shit. I just realized that I still have my I just realized I was risking like crazy money. I still have my helmet on me. Damn, that was crazy. We could have potentially lost a crazy amount of money right there. which I've done that before, you know. But if we can avoid that, then we want to avoid that. All right, now I'm going to be able to kill this dude. All right, I'm going to lock in for a second here. Matter of fact, I mean, there was some kids in Santa Ana High. Like 2 kids got poked. You know, you just never know. Here we go. I'm gonna zone in for a second. Ooh. Damn. Almost got him out. That was nasty. That was real nasty. Oh yeah, this is a tough fight right here. Gotta be zoned in right here. So he's red skulled, so he's risking a lot of money as well. So if I kill him, basically, recently saw you on YouTube, I think. So if I kill him right here, I'm gonna make back everything that we lost tonight. Ooh. Damn. That was wild. Dang it. Damn, time ran out. That was sick, though. That was sick. So now I'm going to switch up my armor. So yeah, you know, I'm gonna make a video soon here about the how to beat a wrestler, multiple different techniques, the best techniques you can use to beat a wrestler in a fight. You know, specifically, you know, that Jose dude fought this past weekend. He used a lot of different techniques that we've seen used before, like when McGregor fought Mendez. So I'm gonna put that out. I'm gonna put out the Charles Oliveira versus Ilia Topuria fight breakdown. And yeah. So yeah, appreciate you guys for tuning in. Much love, my man Damon Nomad. You're a real one. Appreciate you. See you guys soon. Peace. Learn to fight.